my glasses on. Can't see anything. I'm of that age at this point. All right. Hello, South Wireless Summit. Woo! We're going to get going here because I know this room's going to be packed in a minute, right? Exactly. Boy, it is just awesome to see everyone. I don't really recognize you without a little square around your face, though. But it is just, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible to be here in person with you, with all my friends that I haven't seen in so long. You know, it's been 2 years since we were here, right? 2 years? How many of you is it your first time at South Wireless Summit? Okay, awesome. You're gonna come back. How are you? You're gonna come back. This is the best show on earth. It's one of my most favorite events, isn't it? It's awesome. Let me tell you something about South Wireless Summit that you may not know. So, the proceeds from the summit go to South Wireless Scholarship Foundation. And this is a foundation that gives scholarships to kids that live in the states and their parents are in the wireless industry in the South states. And so far to date, they've given, what's that noise? Is that a plane? So far, like, what's going on? So far, they've given $800,000 in scholarships. Is that incredible? To 200 children. So when you're here today, it's a bigger meaning than just being here and gathering with your friends and networking. I mean, we're really doing something special in the world here. And I'm glad you're here, and I hope you come back. I'm a Tennessee girl at heart. I was raised just about an hour and a half from here. That's why I have my boots on. You gotta have your boots on when you're here. So, you know, a lot has changed in 2 years, right? But one thing that has not changed is that wireless is a family. Aren't we a family? We are a family. This is like a family reunion here. And, you know, I got into this industry 5 years ago, and I'll just never forget, you know, my first conference, and everyone was so nice. And I'm like, I'm gonna be in this industry forever and ever and ever. So how many of you felt the same way? How many of you have been in this industry forever and ever? All right, yeah, there you go. See, you can't get out, right? You might leave and then you get drugged back in or something, right? Like, you just can't get out. No, it's an amazing, amazing industry. And you know, there's something else that's amazing about this industry, and that is the Women's Wireless Leadership Forum, better known as WWLF. Let's hear it for WWLF. So I'm excited. I didn't introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Carrie Charles. I'm the CEO of Broadstaff. We are a telecom staffing firm. And I'm also very proud to be on my second term on the board of directors of WWLF as the Director of Industry Relations. So today we're going to talk about how WWLF has changed over the years, and also how it's changed the lives of countless women in our industry. How many of you are familiar with WWLF? Okay, good. Well, this is going to be, you're going to take you deep into who we are and what we're all about, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to look at also how to get more women into telecom. Now, we just need people, period, in telecom, right? I mean, women, men, people need to come because we have a talent shortage, ladies and gentlemen. So, but we're going to talk about how to bring more women in, how to promote more women to leadership roles within telecom. And then we're also going to talk about how you can get involved with WWLF. And, you know, not just as a member. And men, you can be a member too, okay? This isn't just for women. How many men are members of WWLF? Here we go, front row. There we go, back row. We got some in the corner. There you go. Thank you, thank you. So we're going to talk about how you can get involved. And it is a phenomenal organization. You can get involved as a volunteer, you can serve, you can also get involved as a leader or a company where you can provide memberships to your team and really show your support for women and also your stand for diversity. But I'm going to be quiet now and introduce these incredible, powerful women on this stage. So, you see their names behind me, but we have, which is super cool, the present and past leaders of WWLF here with us today. So we have our current president, Amanda Cahill. Amanda, raise your hand. There she is. She's the current president of WWLF, and in her spare time, she is the National Director of Business Development at Squan. We also, give it up for Amanda. We also have the current Vice President of WWLF and Vice President of Engineering at Squan, Beth Martindale. Woohoo! Right here she is, ladies and gentlemen. We also have with us one more person from Squan. Squan got a lot of airtime on this stage, okay? A lot. By the way, they're a smart employer, right? Are they smart or what? Okay? Yes. So we have the 2019-2020 president of WWLF, Carolyn Hardwick, right there in the middle. And she is the president of engineering at Squan. So we're also blessed to have with us Deborah Mercier. Raise your hand. There you go. Woo! Give it up for Deborah. She was the 2019-2020 vice president of WWLF. Did a great job, ladies. You both did an amazing job. She's also the enterprise sales executive for Comcast. Yes. And last but not least, one of my favorite people in the world. It is Amelia De Jesus. This is her in the flesh, right there. She was the 2017-18 president of WWLF, and she did an amazing job too. She's also the vice president at Crown Castle. So give it up for Amelia. So we are super, super excited. We're going to start out with Amelia. You're going to go first, okay? Do your mics work? Did we test them? I'm sorry, Amelia. Amanda. Amelia.
I'm like, you're looking at me, but you're saying Amelia, and I'm like, well.
I am her favorite person in the world.
Clearly.
I just can't get you out of my head. It's Amelia. Amanda. Okay. So, Amanda, tell us about, first of all, for the people who don't know what WWLF is, tell us what is it, okay, first, and a little bit about how it's changed over the years, maybe some new programs that we have now, how it's changed you, and how it has changed women in the industry. I know that's a lot, like a 4-part question, so do your best here.
Let's see how good my memory is. So for those of you who don't know who WWLF is, first off, where have you been? We have been around for a long time. And those of you who do know who we are as well, I think you're going to learn some new things for us. So WWLF is a national volunteer organization for professional women in the wireless communication industry. We offer all kinds of programs, fellowship, mentorship, educational opportunities, and these are all geared around letting women in the industry share an industry knowledge, expand their contacts, as well as advance their career connection and opportunities. And something that we really know the importance of at WWLF is mentorship, and how mentorship can play into shaping the future of our industry, right? And that's why we are so focused on pairing women in our industry who have this experience and this knowledge, and pairing them with a younger person in the industry to be able to share that knowledge with them, kind of take them under their wing, have that one-on-one mentorship, and then the fellowship program as well that we offer. But something that I think that is truly special about WWLF as well is that we offer access to top-notch learning experiences through educational programming, impact meetings, as well as all the events that we do at a city and regional level, as well as partnering with events like South Wireless Summit, right? And so I think that one of the biggest benefits of women to join and get involved in WWLF, honestly, is that it can be a true stepping stone for your personal and professional development. And I use my own experience as an example, Carrie, and my involvement in WWLF, honestly, has helped to shape the woman that I am today. The woman who is sitting on this stage, who is proud and just very honored to be sharing this stage with these women that are up here with me. The community at WWLF truly helped me build confidence, especially early on in my career, and gave me the opportunity to shine in areas that I was really uncomfortable stepping into. And all of the women here, including you, Carrie, have all helped play a part in that. And I think that that's the beauty of an organization like WWLF. Honestly, it was my first experience when I came into WWLF was seeing the power of how mentorship and how guidance and leadership from those who have already done it can shape the person's career, can shape somebody's life, and can truly change the path that you're on and open your eyes to things that maybe you didn't even realize were possible. And I think that's the beauty of this organization. And one of the reasons that I chose to run for president was that I had gained so much from this community that I wanted to be able to give back to this community that had given me so much, and I knew that I'd be able to help shape the future of women coming into our industry. And to me, that was honestly the greatest privilege, and I can't even put it into words what this organization means to me.
That's awesome. You know what each one of you, thank you. Each one of you answer that, just what you've received from WWLF. And Amelia, I'm going to call on you now, okay? This is really Amelia's turn.
So, I mean, look around. Network of strong, independent, intelligent women and men. And so I'm so grateful to have been exposed as part of WWLF to all these fantastic connections. And I'll be selfish and even share that my 16-year-old daughter, who I'm blessed to be able to share these friends and strong women with, is so empowered at 16. She knows all about WWLF and she's like, yes. So that's the future. The kids that are so excited that we can empower them and strengthen them and just re-energize them to go out there in the world.
Love it. Very good. Deborah?
You know, I always think about it as like the launching part of my career. I may have went up in the industry and was very successful in sales and then leadership, but when I found WWLF, it was a time of just growth and the circle that just grew and how my confidence grew with it. And I met so many wonderful people. It was a little lonely at the top with it's a little bit of a male-dominated industry, but this powerhouse of women, I'll tell you, it was a family. So I love it. It's been wonderful.
And I was going to say, I joined WWLF in 2003, and the whole reason that I joined it was to get connected with other women. And most of you know that the tagline for WWLF is keeping women connected. So for me, it was getting to know other women in the industry, networking, and even still, it's so important to network and connect with other women. And I'll be honest, last year when the pandemic hit, I thought, how are we going to do this? You know, WWLF thrives on its live events, and I thought, how are we going to keep women connected? But through our virtual events, and we pretty much have a virtual event every month, it's been a great way to connect with people, and now we don't all have to be in the same city. So it's been really exciting.
Carolyn, I just want to acknowledge you for leading us through the pandemic, because it wasn't that easy because a lot of our events are in person, right? I mean, we had to pivot and shift, and you did a phenomenal job last year.
Thank you.
So it's good. Okay. Beth, let's go. You're next.
So I didn't even know what WWLF was when I joined, truly. I knew it was a women's organization, but I did not know what they represented. And it wasn't until a couple of years later, and really under Carolyn's guidance, that she explained to me, it's not just about women, it's not just about empowering women, it's empowering anyone who feels like they're not represented. Carolyn and I were in a meeting just a handful of years ago. We were the only two women in a meeting of 36 men. It's not to bash men in any way, but I knew that she was the only person that would understand what I was going through and how I was feeling. So not only are we able to support each other emotionally, but we show each other how we can move up in the companies.
That's awesome, ladies. So let's talk about the why. Why is it important for leaders and companies to bring more women in, hire more women, and also move women to leadership roles? Carolyn, why don't you take this one?
Well, studies have proven that when there's a more diverse work environment, companies, have more productivity, they have more creativity, and honestly, studies show that they're more profitable. And I think at this point in history, we can't ignore diversity and inclusion. Not only do we have to have gender diversity, but we have to have diversity across all environments, all races, religions. And what I'm seeing more of is, as we have more young folks coming into the industry, they bring a new set of skills. They show us new ways to problem solve and to think critically. So I think it's a challenge and an opportunity to have a diverse work environment.
Absolutely. Anyone have other comments on that?
Well, I think I just want to add to what Carolyn said, and she mentioned that there's a lot of research and there's a lot of statistics out there, and it's not hard to find research that shows exactly what Carolyn said, that having a gender diverse, but just a diverse team in general increases your innovation. It helps to bring out that creativity. And something that I've actually seen just in my tenure in this industry is that obviously we are in a male-dominated industry. Everybody knows that. But what I have seen is that when women are given the opportunity to thrive in a leadership role, they often do. And when they do, that shows senior leadership that, we can trust women in these roles. We can entrust them with our company and the values and the mission and what we're trying to do to drive this business forward, drive our industry forward. And I think that that's such a powerful thing that we need to start taking more notice of and opening up that conversation, having that dialogue, just so it becomes an everyday vernacular, right? It's a part of our conversation instead of crushing it down because it might be a taboo conversation to overtake.
Yes. So when you first transitioned to a leadership role, what would you say helped you the most? And the second part of the question is, does your leadership style need to change as you transition to new heights in leadership? Amelia, take this one first.
Sure thing. So I think I can pinpoint to a few things that really have helped to grow me in my leadership roles, or even when I started in a leadership role. I think first thing is really just having clarity on your role and the expectations of your role. You can't start a job and not know what you're supposed to do, right? So having that clarity is important. And then I think just being able to navigate and maneuver all the layers within your organization. So having a person in that organization that can help you navigate all those layers, get through some of the bureaucracy is crucial. And then I think along with navigating layers, I think also being able to spend the time and really get to know your reports and your teammates. Because by knowing them and understanding them and being vulnerable with them, I think you can better serve them and by extension, your customers.
Good.
What was the other part of that question, my friend?
Does your leadership style need to change when you transition to new roles, like to higher levels? What would you think?
So I think a lot of us, our leadership roles and styles do change, but I don't even think you actually have to change positions for your leadership style to change. I think as you encounter different circumstances, different challenges, just the environment you're in, you tend to adapt your leadership style.
Yes. What other thoughts do we have?
For adapting to a leadership position, did I have to change? I felt like I had to change. I didn't, because I'm feisty like that. And so that was a good thing. And I'm glad I didn't change.
I love it.
Well, I wanted to hit on real quick, too, about women who want to be in leadership roles who might not feel yet that they're at a place in their career or they might not feel ready. Something that really helped me to prepare for that next level was to find people who were in the positions that I wanted to be in and start to watch them. How are they interacting with other people? How are they showing up as a leader? How do they make you feel when you interact with them? And just taking all of that in. I mean, something as simple as, how do they send an email? When I call them, what kind of conversations do we have? Or in a meeting, what kind of questions are they asking? What are they thinking about? And I'm just making notes of all of this. And when you start to learn a little bit more about leadership, there's all kinds of different styles. There's ways that you can do it. You can change, you can evolve, or you can stay the same even when you're in the same role and you're not necessarily moving to another role. But mirroring was something that really helped me, and that was basically what I just described. Was I found people who were in the roles that I wanted to be in, and I started to not emulate them, but just notice and observe what they were doing and start piecing together those pieces that would make sense for me as a leader.
Yes, that's great. Any other comments before we move on? Okay. So now more than ever, women are supporting women. It's almost like there's a collaboration over competition. Are you feeling that? It's pretty cool, right? So I want to talk about mentorship. And I know it's a hot topic. I've been speaking on mentorship a lot over the past year. But how has mentorship helped you in your career? And what is your advice for women and men? I mean, everyone needs a mentor, right? And to advance. So what is your advice on how to get a mentor in your life? So Deborah.
Well, I'm actually currently in a role at WWLF as the programs director, heading up mentorship and fellowship. So please step over to our booth later to talk about that. But one thing that really resonated with me is I was a lucky professional in the industry. Over the years, I found mentors. Mentors found me. I never held back, and people became mentors, and I didn't even ask them to be mentors. But you need to ask, and you need to put yourself out there, and that's what WWLF can do for you. We have a mentorship program, and this whole crowd, I see many folks that are involved. I have Colette, my new mentee, sitting in front of me right now. Super excited to get to know her. And I tell you, it's about supporting one another, about bringing them up, making their circle of network more strong, being there for them, even in the first steps in their industry of learning this industry. So right now, we actually just recently launched our mentorship program. I know we're always open for folks to come on board and volunteer. Go to our website, www.lf.com. or .org, sorry. And I tell you, take a look, come over to the table tonight, we'll talk more about it, but mentorship, you have to make the leap. You have to reach your hand out. I love what Carrie said on one of our past webinars is, you've got to ask. You've got to ask. There's no harm in asking, and I'll tell you, most of them will not turn you down. The reason I got involved as a mentor is because I felt as if I was very blessed. And blessed is that word where you feel things have come to you. And so I wanted to give back. And my journey's been amazing since I started with WWLF and in the mentorship program. So come on board. We want you to be part of our family, all right?
It's a great program. I will tell you that once upon a time I was shy. And I head down just working and really invisible. And so I did have a mentor, a male, right? Find me and then remind me that I needed to be more visible. It was the best advice that I ever had in my entire career. Because from then, I realized that head down, just getting the work done, nobody knew who Amelia was getting the work done. You need to be visible. So I think that's really important. But what I would tell folks is, and I think that's to your point as well, you need to really understand what you're seeking from mentorship. So identify how that mentorship is going to help you or what you want outside of that mentorship. So based on that, then you reach out to your network and really collaborate with folks in your network that can help tie you in with others with similar interests or can lead you in that direction that you would like to be.
Yes. Let's keep going. I want to hear all your mentor stories. Maybe you were a mentor for someone, right? Or a mentee. So let's just take it on down. We're actually ahead of schedule. I don't think that's ever happened to me in the history of my speaking career. But anyway, let's go.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to point out is that when you talk with most people, they will attribute their successes or their rise professionally to a mentor. And so I encourage people, if you don't have a formal mentorship program in your company, you can still go to someone in a management role at your company or HR and say, I would love to be a mentor, or I would love a mentor for me. And I'm sure they'll pair you with someone. But just like Deborah said, at WWLF, anyone can come to us and say, I'm new to the industry, or I'm new in a role. And even if you've been in the industry for 10 years, you might be new in a role and benefit from being paired with someone who is also in that role.
Very
Yeah, I love that. And I want to hit on something that Deborah said about asking. One of my life mottos is that the answer is always no until you ask. And I truly believe that. And for me, I have been fortunate enough to have mentors across my entire career, but only most recently has it been a formal structure, and ones I've had through WWLF where I actually had a mentee that, I got to mentor as well. But there's value on being both sides of those. So definitely don't ever feel that if you are young in your career, maybe you're 5, 6, 7 years in, that you don't have enough to offer somebody who is just coming into the industry, because I promise you, you do. You have so much more knowledge than you probably give yourself credit for. And so that's a really easy way that you can start to build up your network, start to feel comfortable. As we talked about, like leadership, when you start to transition into those leadership roles, that's a really great way to test out, hey, can I navigate somebody's career? Can I help them? Can I mentor them? Just step into those roles. I've done that, and it's actually kind of funny, Amelia, my very first mentor in the industry was a man as well, and that's something I want to mention to the men that are in the audience. We need male mentors in our industry. Yes, WWLF is for professional women, but we need men because they offer a different perspective to us, things that we don't even see. It brings so much value to see it through your eyes. I think Carolyn has had a male mentor. I know Amelia has. It is definitely, I don't want to speak for you ladies, but has helped shape who we are as women, who we are as leaders, and how we show up in this industry. So definitely don't undermine yourself in thinking that just because you're a man, you can't be a mentor in our organization as well.
That's wonderful. Beth, what are your thoughts?
My mentor was also male. Go figure. I actually have a question for those attending. How many of you feel like you have mentored someone in your career? Just raise your hand, quick count. It's awesome. How many of you, was it formal? Like, I'm a mentor, I have a mentee, I have an assignment. How many was formal? Just a small handful. So the only reason I want to point that out is you may not even know it, but someone's looking up to you. Mm-hmm. And that is certainly a way to be an awesome mentor. And then the rest of the people who didn't raise their hand, they may be looking for you. They may be looking for someone to lead them or to listen or to guide them. So just think about that when you are walking into the office again for the first time. Who needs your help? Who needs your guidance? If they reach out to you and want to be developed, help them. It's that simple.
It's so
mentors,
gratifying.
Oh, go
so
ahead.
gratifying just to be able to give back.
Yes, absolutely. Mentors, it doesn't have to be formal either. It could be informal. And I know in this room right here, there are some of my mentors in this industry. And we would not be where we are today as a company at Broadstaff without you mentoring me. I came into this industry brand new, did not know anything 5 years ago. And, I just want to say thank you and it makes me tear up sometimes. Thank you to everyone who's supported me. Thank you for being here now and watching this panel. I mean, that's what mentorship is, it's mentorship I'm just so moved by the people that have helped me. So it doesn't have to be formal. It can be informal. You can just say, I've asked people before, I said, hey, can I just call you like once a month and ask you some questions and just, can you help me out a little bit? And so it can be informal as well. So thank you. I thought this was a wonderful conversation. So how can companies show their support of women and really help women to move into leadership roles? I know that it is important to companies because when women, as a candidate, when women interview at a company, how many of you look at how many women are in leadership roles? Okay, we do. We look, we're like, okay, who is like me up there? Because it cues us in that we are gonna be able to get there too, right? If somebody's there. So what can companies do, and Beth, we'll have you start this one, that can really help show their support of women and promote them to leadership roles?
Wow. So first of all, I want to point out a couple of companies that do it right. Crown Castle, American Tower, they do it right. They support not only women, but a diverse workforce. And they do that by joining with organizations like WWLF to say, you know, these people are important to me, and I want to offer them the opportunity to interact and fellowship with others that are just like them, and they're going to gain something from it. Just so much knowledge they'll gain. So the point being, for all of you, whether you're a one-person company or 1,000 people, we have a package that we can tailor to suit your needs, that you can offer your new hires as you're onboarding them. I care about you. I want you to be a part of WWLF. I'll support you in that endeavor. That's the biggest way I see that companies can get involved in showing that they really do stand behind what they're saying.
And I was just going to add on to that. So Beth and I are the president and vice president of engineering at Squan, and we're amazed at how often, sometimes we'll sit in on interview calls, and how many people go to our website and say, I applied to your company because I saw that you two are leading the engineering division. So it's empowering to us, and it's awesome that our company does promote women, and most of our engineering division is actually led by women managers. We have about 12 managers, and the majority are women. But I think it's important that we do empower other women, that we encourage women to apply for jobs and not be afraid to step up.
I was going to say that we were onboarding some young leaders program, and they were interested in understanding what kind of women advocacy programs they had. And of course, we talked about WWLF, and some of my EMT members were there, and they're members of WWLF, so it was really exciting to have these youth, exciting folks from great colleges come in and know that Crown and some of the other companies are really trying to lift women up.
I think it's one thing that you may see or not see, that there's women moving up in an industry or in a company, but another, for someone like myself with 20 plus years in the industry and in leadership and sales, and a career that I'm really excited about, I got a lot to bring to the table. When I went looking for an opportunity last year, that was at the top of my list. And I tell you, Comcast Business, 50% leadership women is one of their goals, and it rang out loud. And it was talked over and over again in all these interview panels I was in, and they were selling me to go to Comcast, and they had a plan, so I'm like, all right.
I love it.
So it was good.
I love it. Anything else? Yes, please.
I have to add one thing. Can't help it. That is how a company can help their employees, but only you can help yourself. You have to prepare, educate, learn, gain the experience, and then ask for what you want. Don't put it all on your company. You have to do it, and we're here to help you do that.
Very good. Anything else on that question?
Shall I do a plug for the sponsors? I shared this story with the ladies earlier.
Yes, share that story. That's a good story.
That I've always been excited about WWLF and making sure that we engage promoters and sponsors, because obviously that's how we fund a lot of our programs. And very recently, maybe I have some buying power, so very recently I came across a company who I'd never heard of, never known of, except they were a sponsor of WWLF. So now they're one of my vendors.
I love it. I love it. That's a great story right there. All right, well, we have come to the end of our time. We have 1 minute left. 1 minute. Does anybody want to say something? Do you want to do a lightning round? Let's do a lightning round. Okay. I did not prepare them for this. That's why they look like that. They're like, what is she going to do? I've been known to do crazy things. All right. So, one sentence. give some advice to a woman who is out there listening to this, looking up on the stage and saying, I want to be there? Amelia, go first.
Be courageous. You've got this.
All right.
Get support. Have a very strong circle around you. Don't give up.
And I would say get connected to as many women as you can.
Exactly what I was going to say. Network, 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 and network again. You can never have too many people in your network.
I love it. Go girl. Did they take all your answers? They took all her answers. So.
I would just say, if you really want the support, you have to ask for it. You have to reach out, and there are so many people in this room who are willing to help you.
Yes, that's awesome. And I would say, get uncomfortable, be bold, and step out of your comfort zone. You need to be terrified and uncomfortable every single day. So I want to thank you so much for being here and giving us this opportunity to showcase WWLF. And now let's get to the keynote. Woohoo!